Now, with recent developments, it seems the true motives are becoming clear. Hungary's outbursts are not driven by economic concerns, but by political ones. The silence around oil is deliberate because this business thrives on discretion. That our primary goal is to prevent the Russians from profiting from the transit of Russian oil and gas through Ukraine. They earn around $11 billion annually from this. Hello and welcome to Ukraine in Flames, a special project by Ukraine Media Center and NGO Euroatlantic Course. And I'm your host, Matt Wickham. And in this episode, we discuss Russian energy blackmail and its risks for Europe. Mykhailo Honchar, president of the Center for Global Studies, discusses the critical importance of preventing Russia from profiting from oil and gas transit through Ukraine. He emphasizes the need to terminate existing agreements with Gazprom and examines the potential risks and complexities of Azerbaijani gas transiting through Russia and Ukraine. Let's listen. For us, for you, for everyone in Ukraine, it is crucial not to allow the aggressor to earn money for their war budget. Within this framework, when analysing the issue of oil and gas transit, we must consider how to minimise or ideally eliminate the revenues of the aggressor, Russia. While we do receive transit revenues as payment for the transportation services of oil and gas, they are significantly less than what Russia earns as an oil or gas exporter. I'm speaking broadly here. Therefore, when we discuss the issue of continuing gas transit, it is clear that, as the saying goes, everything old is new again. The RosUkrEnergo scheme turned 20 this year, but the anniversary went unnoticed. On July 26, 2004, in Yalta, a general agreement was approved to settle all gas issues related to supplies to Ukraine, transit, and more. Although the scheme was designed for 25 years, it lasted less. It caused so much damage that we felt its effects in the years that followed. In fact, in 2009, the scheme was replaced by a direct agreement. But in one way or another, the scheme persisted. This is the style of the Kremlin and Gazprom. What's the issue now? When we discuss the preservation of transit, it's clear that it cannot continue in its current form, as per the agreement made in December 2019 between Naftogaz and Gazprom. That was a hybrid transit scheme that mixed something based on European legislation with the old Gazprom-Naftogaz practices. There should have been no agreement between Naftogaz and Gazprom at all. The matter should have been handled by operators, but this is a minor compared to what is unfolding now. There is a consensus, and society does not see the continuation of gas transit as envisaged by the current agreement, because it would allow the enemy to profit from us. The government's and Naftogaz's response has been in line with this statement. The chapter must end, and there can be no future relations between Naftogaz and Gazprom, a company of the aggressor company. However, there's talk that transit still needs to be preserved. Here, as they say, the devil is in the details. The subject of Azerbaijani gas in Europe has come up. Indeed, there is Azerbaijani gas in Europe transported via a special gas transportation system that bypasses Russia through the South Caucasus, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Turkey, and then to the Balkans, Southern Europe, and Italy via the Trans-Adriatic pipeline. Gas from the Shah-Denzin field is supplied there. Then the idea emerges that Azerbaijani gas could reach Europe by another route, transitioning through Russia and Ukraine. First, there is no direct transit gas pipeline from Azerbaijan through Russia to Ukraine, nor has there ever been one. This would mean a substitution scheme, which is a good idea. However, Azerbaijan does not have free gas resources. What it has for export is already sent through the TANAP pipeline, in which Sokar invested, and the TAP pipeline to southern Europe. The second phase of the Shah Deniz field will eventually provide additional gas, but it's also intended for the TANAP-TAP system. So when it comes to so-called transit through Russia, the question arises, where's the gas coming from? It's clear where the gas could come from: Russia, from Gazprom. To make it appear legitimate, this could be arranged between traders who don't have Russian or Azerbaijani registration. For example, Azerbaijan's Sokar has Sokar Trading, a company registered in Switzerland in Geneva that sells oil petroleum products, liquefied gas and natural gas. Everything seems above board. Another Gazprom or non-Gazprom trading company could be registered in Switzerland, which could sell this gas to Azerbaijani trader, who in turn would sell it to a Slovak company. The Slovaks have officially announced their interest in purchasing Azerbaijani gas, but they are well aware of what kind of gas it will actually be and whose gas it truly is. Sergiy Makohon, General Director of the GTS Operator of Ukraine LLC from 2019 to 2022, reinforces the need to block Russian profits from oil and gas transit through Ukraine, highlighting that Russia earns around $11 billion annually from this. He argues that Azerbaijan's gas capacity through the TANAP can be significantly increased without relying on Russian transit, questioning the logic of an Azerbaijan choosing to send gas through Russia, which poses a risk of supply disruption. Let's listen to more. As for Azerbaijani gas, I fully agree with Mr. Mykhailo that our primary goal is to prevent the Russians from profiting from the transit of Russian oil and gas through Ukraine. They earn around $11 billion annually from this money that goes directly into the Russian budget, and we all know what this money is used for. I also agree that there isn't Azerbaijani gas available in such volumes. That's the first point. Secondly, to meet Azerbaijani's growing capacity, the TANAP pipeline through Turkey, in which Azerbaijan owns more than 58%, was designed to nearly double its capacity from the current 16 billion cubic meters to 31 billion, simply by building 4 additional compressor stations. It takes about 1.5 to 2 years to build a compressor station, and this would effectively double our export capacity through Turkey. I also don't see why Azerbaijan would want to transit its gas through Russia, knowing that the Russians could cut it off at any time. Remember the situation in 2009 when there was an agreement between Russia and Turkmenistan on gas transit. An accident occurred, the pipeline between the two countries was destroyed, and the agreement fell apart. It makes no sense for Azerbaijan to risk its gas supply to Europe. So yes, this seems to be a scheme. A Russian and Azerbaijani attempt to disguise Russian gas as Azerbaijani and continue selling it to Europe, perpetuating the political corruption that Russia is currently involved in. Back in 2020, all these countries were planning to receive gas bypassing Ukraine, anticipating that Nord Stream 2 would become operational that year. Neither the Slovakian nor Hungarian governments expressed concern in 2019 or 2020 about the readiness or argued for maintaining transit through Ukraine. Only one country supported us, Germany. Angela Merkel insisted on maintaining gas transit through Ukraine at a level of 40 billion cubic meters, believing that as long as there was transit through Ukraine, Putin would not attack. But this didn't prevent the conflict, which is the first point. Since 2020, these countries were prepared to live without Ukrainian transit, with special infrastructure like the EUGAL pipeline from northern Germany to Czech Republic already in place. Since 2021, Hungary has not received gas directly from Ukraine. It receives gas via the Turkish Stream through Turkey. Currently, only 12 billion cubic meters of gas pass through Ukraine, which accounts for about 4% of total European imports. To suggest that this 4% could significantly impact prices or create risks for Europe is misleading. Everyone in Europe recognizes that this argument is baseless. Only 2 countries are discussing this now, Slovakia and Hungary. Hungary's positioning is puzzling since they receive gas through the Turkish Stream. As for Slovakia, the situation is similar. Like Ukraine, Slovakia earns revenue from Russian gas transit, receiving about $680 to $800 million annually for this service, and another substantial sum for reselling Russian gas. In total, they earn about $1.4 billion from Russian gas transiting through Ukraine. For a small country, maintaining this revenue is crucial, which likely explains why FICO visits Azerbaijan and proposes schemes to disguise Russian gas, allowing Slovakia to continue receiving these funds both officially and unofficially. It is essential that everyone understands this. There are no technical risks for either Ukraine or Europe when it comes to gas. Regarding oil, I completely agree with Mr. Sergiy, but I'd like to add that while Ukraine earns only $240 million annually from oil transit, Russia earns about $6 billion from selling that oil. Sergiy Kuyun, director of A-95 Consulting Group LLC, reveals the Hungarian government's opposition to the Odessa-Brody oil pipeline was driven by political motives rather than economic factors. He explains that the 20% discount on refining Russian oil through Ukraine significantly benefits Hungary financially, allowing it to subsidize gasoline prices and support Orban's political and media operations. Let's listen. The silence around oil is deliberate because this business thrives on discretion. In this quiet environment, a scheme emerged to finance the Hungarian government under Orban, and it has remained under the radar for years. Over the last 15 or 20 years, Ukraine, through Ukraine Transnafta and the Cabinet of Ministers, has repeatedly tried to promote marine oil transit via the Odessa-Brody pipeline, proposing to move oil from the sea to Brody and further to Hungary and Slovakia. There were even plans to extend this transit to Austria, making cross connections to supply oil there as well. However, the Hungarian government consistently obstructed these efforts, effectively halting the project. Now, with recent developments, it seems the true motives are becoming clear. Hungary's outbursts are not driven by economic concerns, but by political ones. The 12 million tons of oil that transit through Ukraine to the MOL plants in Hungary generate an overmargin of $1.2 to $1.4 billion annually, thanks to the 20% discount everyone is talking about. This margin is used not only to subsidize gasoline prices, something Orban has often highlighted in his pre-election rhetoric, boasting that Hungarian fuel is cheaper than that of its neighbouring countries, but also to finance his political funds and media empire, both crucial to his political survival. With the threat of losing these oil deliveries, Orban's political future is at stake. If he loses this revenue from Russian oil transit, his ability to maintain cheap gasoline and fund his political machine could be severely compromised. This explains Hungary's recent hysteria as they blow this issue out of proportion, despite continuing to receive oil, albeit from different suppliers. Replacing Lukoil with another provider is not a problem for Russia, as they control the market regardless of Lukoil's status as a private company. You've been watching the special project by Ukraine Media Center and NGO Atlantic Course, dedicated to the Russian-Ukrainian War, Ukraine in Flames. In the description under this video, you can find more information on how you can help Ukraine fight Russian aggression. If you find our work useful, please like and share this video. Slava Ukraini!